Hi, I'm Dr. Ellis Orozco, and thanks for listening to this video podcast. I hope you have a great weekend. Hi, and thanks for listening in. I wanted to talk a little bit this weekend about the idea of giving everything up for Jesus. There's this theme that seems to run throughout the scriptures where Jesus is asking his disciples, or those who want to follow him, to give up everything. There's one scene where a wealthy young man who is a rising star in his world comes to Jesus and tells Jesus that he wants to follow him. And Jesus says, well, have you done this and that and this and that? And the man says, yes, I've done all of that. And Jesus saw that he had. He really had. He had lived a good life. And Jesus said, this one thing you lack, go and sell everything and follow me. And the young man walked away really sad because he just couldn't do it. And the scripture literally says he had too much stuff. It was too hard for him to give it up. There's another scene where Jesus says that if you want to follow me, that you have to leave your mother, leave your father, you have to leave everything, pick up your cross and follow me. And those are really harsh terms. And in fact, at one point when he said that, the scripture says that people started leaving the Jesus movement because it was just too hard. So the question I get off of that a lot is, what does that mean for me today? Does that mean that I have to leave everything behind in order to follow Jesus? I think that what Jesus meant when he talked about this with the people of his day was that he wanted to see a desire in them to follow him so strong that they were willing to give up anything to follow him. I mean, his own disciples came to him and said, listen, we've given up everything to follow you. And Jesus said to them, yes, you have. But not everyone who followed Jesus during his lifetime had given up everything to follow him. There were women who followed his movement, who went from town to town with him, whose husbands were back at home working, and they were supporting the ministry through those means. There were others who followed him when he came into town, into Jericho or into Bethany. Lazarus and Mary and Martha, they lived there, and when Jesus came through, he stayed with them, and they ministered to him. They were his disciples too, but they had not left their hometown to follow him. There were even secret followers of Jesus. Nicodemus, who came in the middle of the night. Joseph of Arimathea, who was there to bury him. These were people who were following him, but kind of quietly following him. They had not left everything to go follow him. So the point I want to make is that there are a lot of different ways to follow Jesus and a lot of different ways that he asks you to follow him. But at the heart of it, he wants to know that at any point in time, you would be willing to give up anything to do what he asks you to do. That at any given point in time in your life, you are ready to give up everything to follow him. I hope this weekend, as you reflect on your devotion to Jesus, that you would ask yourself some questions about your relationship with him. Here are a few questions you might try. What is it in my life right now that reflects in a consistent way my devotion to Jesus? What are some of the things that I'm doing that if someone were looking at my life from the outside, they would be able to say, yes, that person really does love Jesus? What are some of the ways that I have given of myself above and beyond the norm in order to serve Jesus? These are some really good reflection questions for you as you take some time this weekend to look at your own life and ask yourself, what is it about my life that shows that I'm devoted to Jesus? At the end of the day, that's really all he wants to know. He just wants to know that you love him more than anything else. Reflect on that in the coming days, and I hope you have a great weekend.